Well, hi there. Are you languishing? This is Rati of Creative Calling Coaching, and I'm a coach for creatives and other divergent thinkers who need to focus so that they can grab the focus of others, get seen, and make money doing what they love. And today I am going to talk about a new word that's entered the psychological lexicon, that of languishing. We think of two states of being most of the time. We think of depression very often or thriving. Many times, people are just hanging out in the third bucket, especially since the epidemic, and that is languishing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that entails. But first, I want to invite you to like this video, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and notice that there's a link in the description below or above, depending, that I'm going to explain more about later. But if you don't have time to hang out, just click it and you'll see it's about a group program coming up. Anyway, languishing in the dictionary, to languish is to basically atrophy or wither due to neglect. All right. And so a languishing career, for instance, is one that has no momentum because it's not being tended to properly or no one's paying attention to it. A plant languishes when it's not watered. And human beings languish when they are not being inspired or adequately stimulated. So a lot of people feel as though they wasted their time during the pandemic, during all this lockdown, when essentially they expected themselves to function on fumes. All right. The pandemic for a lot of people was a period of languishing, of just kind of meh. The things they usually derived energy from were not accessible. Okay, so I just want you, if you're one of those people who feels like you wasted the year or whatever, I want you to just put that down, let that go, and understand that it's because you weren't getting what you need. And of course, the next step is to figure out what that could possibly be. How do you stop languishing, right? A lot of people got pets during the quarantine, I think, because we were languishing for touch. We were languishing for companionship. Um, a lot of people who were in the performing arts may have experienced languishing for lack of an audience, but artists of all types, I think, experienced it because with something so huge going on, it was hard to feel the importance of their creative work. Why should I be writing a book when everybody's just trying to survive, for instance? Or obviously, I am not part of an essential profession. Broadway shut down, you know? So while you may not have descended into a wholesale depression, you may have started to feel apathy about your life, and it may be hard for you to really feel the incentive once again to create meaning in the world. So, to me, that indicates a need for inspiration. So, in summary, this won't be a very long one. I just want to say that languishing is the result of some form of neglect. And so, if you are feeling meh in your life right now, grab a pen and paper, do a little journaling, and figure out what's kind of dry, what's dried up for you, what's dried up in your life. What haven't you treated yourself to lately? What what might you find intriguing? It's a good time to take yourself on what Julia Cameron calls an artist date. Go to a museum or something. All right. And another thing to antidote, I'm going to use antidote as a verb, yes. languishing is to get out of isolation. Isolation is where we languish. And for that reason, I want to invite you to check out the link in the above or below the video, depending on if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, because I'm going to be starting a virtual group program on June 18th, which might be just the ticket. It is the Passion to Profit Project. It is a place to come together with other like-minded people and find a way to turn the ignition. Think of me as cable jumpers. Cable jumpers. I like to think of myself as a creative instigator. If you feel like you want to come out of isolation now and get something going and you don't know how, I hope you'll check out this group program. It's going to meet on Fridays at 12 noon and 3 Fridays, 3 Fridays a month. It's a 3-month commitment. So it might be just the jump start you need to get back into the world, to identify a goal and to create some accountability on it, around it, so that you make something start to happen again and start thriving, come out of that languishing state. So I hope you have enjoyed that. If you haven't been able to put your finger on what it is that's going on for you lately and the whole concept of languishing resonated with you, I'm glad you watched. I also want you to know that there is a New York Times article about this whole phenomena. The article is called Feeling Blah During the Pandemic. So just Google that. You'll find the article and you can read about it. I will be back here on Tuesday at 5 as usual. And if you have any questions, please post them in the chat. Thank you again for listening, and I will see you next week.